that God came into this place today. You can imagine God in whatever tangible form works for you, but God just came in the back door, whether as a spirit or personified in some way, and decided to place a gift. Place a gift, just walk forward quietly and place a gift in front of the communion table. Would we accept the gift? That is the simple question of today. Would we accept the gift that God has just placed in front of us? Well, it seems simple initially to answer. Well, yes, of course. We would love to accept the gift. It's from God. But the gift ends up sitting there for a minute. No one wants to be the one to look selfish in taking the gift first. I mean, if the kids were really paying attention, they would all be willing to take the gift first. But we would be smart enough, for those who are helping, to say, no, don't touch the gift. Let us figure out the best way to group together and accept this gift. And maybe we're not, any of us, even the adults, not really mature enough to accept this gift. And what if we don't actually like God's gift? So everybody just continues to stare at the gift. Someone gets close to it. There's a card. It says it's for you, from me. I promise, you will like it. Nobody moves. The gift remains there. Nobody really wants the responsibility. The person who read the card starts to feel a little nervous. And so everybody goes through worship and goes home and knows that the gift will still be there in a week. And so the next week everyone comes back. And the gift is still there, but one thing on the gift has changed. The tag says, for the children. Well, the children, if given permission, will open the gift as quickly as possible. I mean, it's a gift, it's a present. It makes them have that same type of feeling when they all of a sudden do open it, when they get a surprise snow day off from school. It's like someone has given them candy and they're not going to get a stomachache. But the adults have no idea what these children have actually opened and what they have discovered. They start looking at one another and they start to get, they wouldn't say jealous yet, but they just start to get curious and they're a little concerned, like, what is happening here? They're beginning to regret not opening the gift the week before. So they try to go up to the kids and see what the gift is and maybe even secretly take the gift away. And they start to go towards it, and the kids, being kids, of course, when they're told no about anything, burst into tears. No, it's mine. You promised me. This is mine. And this then becomes a moment, like we've seen, where adults get a little bit angry and upset, like, why are you throwing a fit? And they remind the children in their adult way that, remember, children and adults are all to be treated the same, and we all need to receive the gift together and share. And they remember that God brought the gift, and so it must not have been an easy gift. And so maybe we should tell our children, even though it said it's for them, maybe it's children in that big God sense, and so maybe we would wait for another time. Because the adults really try to pretend is the gift. Today our scripture comes from the prophet Ezekiel. Ezekiel is in exile in Babylon. Remember those important screens every once in a while I show you about that exile and how that really makes a difference in understanding the Hebrew scriptures? Well, the prophet Ezekiel is one of those who's been exiled to Babylon. He and a lot of people who really kind of followed him afterwards and edited his thoughts, they share these types of themes of how exile is like the time when Israel had wandered into the wilderness. God has continually tried to give the gift of God's presence to the people in multiple ways, and the people continue to reject that presence. The Message Bible interprets Ezekiel like this: I gave them the laws for living. I showed them how to live well and obediently before me. I also gave them my weekly holy rest days, my Sabbaths, a kind of signpost erected between me and them to show them that I, God, am in the business of making them holy. Ezekiel spent a lot of time in his writings and even his strange visions thinking through the foundational elements of the temple, the Torah, the Ten Commandments, those things that the Israelites had that were destroyed, because he thinks it is due to forgetting the most foundational aspect of faith. Faith that does not come in just the writings, faith that does not come in the buildings, faith that comes when you remember to include the gift of God. Like us, even today, we always sometimes go through the motions, but we forget the deeper reasons and connections to God. The connections that bring real life joy, real knowledge of God. They have forgotten the importance of Sabbath. They had forgotten to take the real time needed in their lives to make space to truly be made holy. I mean, Sabbath is one of the laws. It even makes the top 10. And so Ezekiel points out that those who live in Judah and who were exiled have failed to accept the gift God has provided. And it's not just any type of rest like we sometimes think of Sabbath. It is a type of rest that Scripture emphasizes. It is God saying, this is my Sabbath that I have given to you. It is an intensified standard, pledge, assurance, sign, and wondrous connection required to engage directly in our ability to discover what it means to share divinity with God. So do we accept that gift of Sabbath provided for us every day in many ways? Do we accept the gift? I would argue that no. We do not live in a culture that embraces or even tolerates the notions around Sabbath. If we do try to recognize the Sabbath, we do it in a way that often works in our human standards and our short-term basic needs. We don't really take the time to risk what it means to say no to the busyness and the craziness of the world, and yes to real, intense time with God. In fact, I would also say that our society in many ways unintentionally says no to the gifts of Sabbath. That they don't even realize that they are pushing younger generations away from finding the the time and the space needed to accept the gift of what it means to be with God and discover the divinity that is within you from a child until you are old. As we move into Advent next week, we will focus on what Sabbath really means and what it means to be open and accept that gift. I mean, all of us, not just me as your pastor, are called to take significant time to be made holy with God. And the ideas behind Sabbath have become, in some ways, radical notions. Sabbath is truly one of the most important aspects of our faith journey, and yet it is countercultural, and thus often easily ignored. It is something that God has said is a vital part of our relationship to both God and humanity. That's why it falls where it falls in the Ten Commandments. It is the connector between this motion and this motion that we talked about a few weeks ago. And yet many of us, and myself included, struggle with really allowing the space and time for God to make me more holy, to do the work here, and to allow the work here to go back to God, and vice versa. And that is the space that Sabbath calls us to have. God gives us that gift again and again in the Bible, and we ignore it. And once we ignore that time and that space, just like the Hebrew, we may lose it. And we may lose much more than this time and busyness. We may be defeated. We may be exiled to the wilderness or to Babylon, and if we ignore it, we often really ultimately can lose God. This isn't just it's time to take time to slow down. It's time to take time for God, and we are losing God in our hurried lives. And so when we move into this time of preparation, which is what purple is for in our liturgical calendar, I want to embrace the crucial gifts and aspects and understandings that come with really knowing what it means to accept the gift of Sabbath. Ways that really allow us to open ourselves up to welcome what will ultimately lead us, if we are open to it and take the time for it, the divine beauty of the Christ child. The Christ child that gives our souls rest, to let our lives know God's peace within ourselves. And so as we move to next week, I wonder what the card will say on the gift. I wonder how you will find time this week to take Sabbath. One of the ways is knowing that you had a shorter sermon today. So take about 10 extra minutes, go home, and spend some time with God. And let us begin to find what is divine inside us as we seek the divine Christ child. Amen.